I'm not sure because all the music that I do, I have to have this. Thank you.
I hear you 515.
Can you do the test of the voice message? To me, it starts. No, once they start. Once they start. If not, I'll just grab them out. You're welcome, sir.
You have the little thing again? What's the guy had on his phone the whole time? The phone, the walkie-talkie.
Good evening. Everyone's requested to kindly please rush and find their seats so that we can get the program started. Thank you.
Sacrifice and service to Atzala of Los Angeles. May Mati be a Meilus Yosher for his family, community, and all of Klal Yisrael.
Check. Check. Hey. Hey, check. Hey, check, check, check. Check, check. Hey, hey, check, check. Check, check. Hey, hey, check, check. Hey, hey, check, check.
Good evening. Thank you everyone for joining, braving the weather. I know in LA rain is a big thing. For coming and making it out here tonight. Those who are joining us online. Thank you for all those that were mishtatif in the learning of the Mishnayos. You know, when my friends came to be Menachem over me during the Shiva, I asked them, my friends who are obviously much younger than Mati, did he know my brother? And they said, no, we didn't, really. He's much different age group. I came to realization, and I think I speak for my family as well, that I really also didn't truly know my brother. All of the Kiddushim Shemayim, all of the Chesed, all of the Torah. I'm really starting to get to know him more and more. But I had a thought afterwards. I said, Mati has so many best friends. And yet, we as a family were sitting Shiva and not the friends. I was thinking, what's the pshat? I saw a vart from Matasel Salman Shlita. The Rambam says in the beginning of Parak Vav and Hilchas Deis, Derech briyasei shebnei Adam liyos nimshach b'dei Yosef v'maisav achar reyav v'chaverav. The way of people is that they're influenced by their friends and their close people. And the Rambam ends off noyeg k'minhag anshay hamedina medinasai, and he acts according to the ways of the people in his Medina. But to Sil Salm's Medayik, there's two things here. You have the end of the Rambam is saying noig k'minhag anshay medinasai, which is obvious. He lives with them, he acts like them. But then you have Reya v'chaverav, his close friends. They could be far away, but they have a hashpah on him, even not being close. I was thinking the same thing could apply with Moti in our family. Although, for many years of my life, even growing up already, he was in yeshiva. But he molded us who we are, being part of the family, the sense of achrayus, responsibility, the sense of doing what has to be done, and his achrayus for Torah, which was legendary at this point. That's why we're sitting Shiva, because it's a chiluk of our essence that was taken away from us. But I think it goes deeper than that. There's a famous word which is attributed to the Melech Mlezhensk, others attributed to Bissol Salanter, he said that at first he thought he could mashpia in the whole world, change the whole world over. And then he said, no, I can't do that, I see it's not working. Let me change my city. And then he says, that's not working out either. Let me at least change myself. I want to make a yisafa, and I was mechavan to Rebbe Ephraim Waxman on this. When a person changes himself, then he could change his city. Then he could change the world. I feel that this is very apropos to who Moti was. As Moti, he worked on himself in so many areas. And that way, in still a quiet oifen, didn't make a big fanfare about it. Through that, he was able to mashpia on the city. He was able to mashpia on the family, obviously. He was able to mashpia on the whole world. Across America, across the world, people are talking about Moti Kest. We find the idea of Shloshim, we find obviously for Avelus, when Moshe Rabbeinu was nifter, when Aaron HaKohen was nifter, Klal Yisrael cried for 30 days. We find another idea of Shloshim. Shloshim yom koydem hachag, shoylem v'darshim hilchas hachag. Person has to prepare himself for 30 days. I was thinking today, maybe these things are connected. We have 30 days to learn from the mace, to prepare ourselves to go on weiter. So although this period of Avelus is coming to a close for us, siblings, what could we learn from Moti? And what's our take-home lesson? I think it's exactly what we spoke about just now. The fact that we could do small things, not big, earth-shattering things, small things that incremental, and that can make a big hashpah on everyone. On this note, I'd like to acknowledge a few people that are doing things as Zeichen Nishas Moti. First, I'd like to acknowledge Ritzika Reisman. I heard that he's starting now a new monthly shir, especially for Moti, Zeichen Nishas Moti, on topics that Moti would have enjoyed. And also, we'd like to acknowledge Johnny Cornell, who's starting a new Mishnais youth program at the Young Israel. On this note, I'd like to call up Ari Kest, Dov Cornell, Judah Graby, and A.B. Man to be Messiah last Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, to the Siyam Mishnais.
Seder Tekiyas.
The Seder Tekiya Shalosh Shalosh Shalosh. The order of blowing is 3 sets of 3. Shir Tekiya Shalosh Trios. The length of Tekiya is 3 trios. And Shir Trua Shalosh Yevavos. And the length of a trua is like 3 quavers, just a short sound. Tagaber Shona, Mashach Mishniak Chashayim. If he blows once and extends it to the length of 2 blows, like 6 truos, in Beyado ala Achas, it only counts for him as 1.
Mishaver Achar Kach Nitman Lo Shofar. One who says the Shmona Esrei, the Chazan for Musaf, and then a shofar is given to him. Tokea Trua Vitokea Shalash Pa'amim. He sounds the Kia Trua Tekiya 3 times.
Kashem Shliach Tzibor Chayev, just like the Chazan is required to daven, Kach Kol Yachid V'Yachid Chayev. Just so too to each and every person who knows how to read Hebrew is also required to daven by themselves. Rabbi Gamliel Omer Shilach Tzibor Moti Es Harabim Yedei Chovasan.
Rabbi Gamliel says that the Chazan can fulfill the obligation of all the people, even if they know how to daven by themselves.
Hadron Allah, Shita Sidrei Mishnah, Hadron Alon, Daten Allah, Shita Sidrei Mishnah, Daten Alon, Law Nisnashe Minoch, Shita Sidrei Mishnah, V'Law Sisnashe Minon, Law Bi'alma Hadain, V'Law Ba'almei Da'aseh. Ha'arev Adonai Eloheinu is Divrei Soirascha, Befinu Uvefia is Amacha Beis Yisrael, V'Nia Chulanu Anachnu V'Tzetzoenu, V'Tzetzoe Amacha Beis Yisrael, Kulanu Yodei Shemecha V'Loim Doiser Secha Me'oivei Techak Meini Mitzvoisecha Ki Lo'olam Hi Li Yehi Libi Samim B'Chukecha Laman Lo Yevoish Lo'olam Lo Yeshkach Pikudecha Ki Vam Chi Yisoni Baruch Atah Adonai Lamdeni Chukecha Amen 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 Sela Vo'ed Moedani Lefnecha Adonai V'Sai Shesamta Chelki Miyoshvei Beis HaMidrash V'lo samta chelki miyoshvei koronos, she'ani mashkim v'hei mashkimim, ani mashkim l'divrei soira v'hei mashkimim l'dvorim b'telim. Ani amel v'heim amelim, ani amel mekabel sochar, v'heim amelim v'enim mekabel sochar. Ani rotz v'heim rotzim, ani rotz l'chayol mabah, v'heim rotzim l'v'er shachas, shenemar v'ata Elohim, Taridem lever shachas anshe damim umirma lo yechatzu yemehem vani eftach bach. You hear it somethnecha Adonai Elohei l'hayv le'vasai kashem shazar tani v'shita sidrei mishnah kain ta'azreni lahaschel sador macherem l'sayim mom little moed lamed mitoyach harachava l'shmor v'lasois l'kayim. It's called divrei salmutar secha be'ahava l'schus. Kol atanoim v'talmidei chachamim haniskorim shisa sidrei mishnah v'chol hasforim shalamadati yamaid li ozari ozera zari shaloi samush hatorah hakadoisha mipi zari v'zera zari miyata v'yad olam v'yikuyim bi mikra shekosa b'hisalechacha tanche oisach b'shachbecha tishmor alecha v'akitzoisa hi sechichecha Ki vi yerbu yamecha v'yesifu l'cha shenois chayim orech yamim v'yamina kesmoil oiser v'chaved adnoi oiser moyitein adonai yivroch esamai v'shalom. L'haidois l'halal l'shabech l'for l'roimim l'hader u'netzach l'vorech l'alei ולקלס על כל דברי שירוס ושבחוis, דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך, בססך סנחני ואחר כבוד תיקחני, והוא רחום יכפר אבוין, ולא ישחיז והרבו להשב בפוי ולא יאיר כל חמסוי. אשרי הגבר אשר תיאסרנו יה, ומתרסך סלמדנו, ואני בחזך ובטחתי, יגע ליבי בשועסך, אשיר על אדוני כי גם אלוהי. סויס אוסס באדוני, תוגל נפשי באלוהי, כי הלבישני בגדי ישע, מעיל צדקה יעטני, כחוסן יכהן פאר וכלכלה תעדה חילה, ויותך וכל ידי שמך כי לא יעזבת רג'ך אדוני, שמחו באדוני וגילו צדיקים, והרנינו כל ישרי לב נר לרגלי דבריך, ואור לנסיבוסי, אוידך כי הניסני ואדהיל לישוע. השיר שהלוויים היו אומרים בבית המקדש ביום הראשון היו אומרים, לאדוני הארץ המלויה, תבל ויושבו, בשני היו אומרים גדול אדוני מהולה מאויד, בעיר אלוהינו הר קדשוי. בשלישי היו אומרים, אלוהים ניצב בעדס אל, בקרב אלוהים ישפוט. ברביעי היו אומרים, אל נקמס אדוני, אל נקמס הרפיע. בחמישי היו אומרים, הרנינו לאלוהים עוזנו, הריעו לאלוהי יעקב. בשישי היו אומרים, אדוני מלך גאוז לובש, אדוני אויסס עזר, אבטיקוין תבל בל תימוד. בשבס היו אומרים, מזמור שיר ליום השבס, מזמור שיר לעשת לווי, ליום שכולי שבס ומנוחה לחי עולמים. יסקדש יסקדש שמי רבו, יום דברו יעשה לעסקת דסה, ולחיה מסיה, ולעסוקה יסוין לחי עולמה, ולמבנה קרתא דירושלים, ולשכלולה היכלי בגבי, ולמקר פולחנה נוכרעה מן ארעה, ולעשבה פולחנה די שמייל אסרוי, וימלך קודשא בריחו במחוסי ויקורא, וישמח בקורם כמשיחי, וחי יחוני ויחוני וחי לכל בית ישראל, והגלו הזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבו מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יסברך וישתבח ויספואר וישמם ויסנשא ויסדור ויסעלה ויסלול שמי קודשא בריחו, לעולם אין כל ברכסה ואשר עשה תשבחסו נחמסה, דאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. על ישראל והרבנו ועל תלמידיהם ועל כל תלמידי סלמידיהם ועל כל מנצחים ברייסה, די בעשר הדין ודי בכל עשר ועשר, יהי אלוהים כהן שלמה רבה, חינה וחסדה ורחמן, וחיינה ריחן, ומזיינה ויחי, פרקנה מן קדם, ובוהינו שמיה ויערב אמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ויעשה שלום במרימיו, הוא ברחם ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
But the sound is connected to the microphone. You turn it off. So right now I have it on camera, like the sound on. There is sound. Okay. Yeah, I can hear the people talking.
Moving along, Moti had a larger group of friends, and it's hard to know which one was his best friend. Siyata Shmaya worked out that we have Ezra Graby speaking now next. Come, Ezra.
Good evening. Dear Jackie, Michal, Yehuda, Tzvi, Rina, Chaya, Ari, Mr. and Mrs. Kest, Maishi, Basya, Yaakov, Yoni, Ben Sion, and your extended family members. All of us here tonight are aware that Moti was an active member of multiple organizations. He loved the outdoors, but he immensely and he intensely loved biking. As an avid cyclist, Moti used to use an exercise app called Strava to record his activities. I checked Moti's biking statistics on Strava. He rode 33,624.2 miles. His longest solo ride was 136.6 miles. And the longest climb that he ever did on a ride was 4,759 feet. The distance he rode, the elevation he climbed, are staggering achievements, but they pale in comparison to how deeply rooted he was in Kibbut Av V'Aim, the relationships he cultivated, his Torah learning accomplishments, the hashpah he had on many of his friends, the hachnasas orchem he and Jackie so effortlessly displayed, and a doting husband and father who always reminded his fellow cyclists on our Sunday rides he needed to be back on time. Mornings were bike time, afternoons were family time. I would venture to say that I probably rode with Moti, whether together or with a larger group, at least 12,000 miles. We rode all over Southern California and 3 years for Bike for Chai. As the summer progressed and it was tougher for Moti to ride his bike, he granted me the opportunity to ride with him on his last 2 bike rides. And when he was unable to bike, we went on short walks. And when he was unable to walk, because it was difficult for him, we went for car rides, mirroring the routes of our bike rides. We spent many hours and had lots of conversations together. But it was those last 2 bike rides and our car rides that were most meaningful to me. Where I was thankful for riding with Moti, he was apologizing for going so slow. It was his birthday ride, and he was showering me with brachos. It was tough to see such a talkative person limit his speech to save his energy. Nevertheless, on our last few outings, when I mentioned a few topics from the previous week's Parsha that were baffling to me, he piped up with such fervor. This past week's Parsha, the first pasuk in Shmos states, Ve'ele Shemos b'nei Yisrael haba Mitzrayma es Yaakov ish ubeso ba'u. These are the names of the sons of Yisrael who came to Mitzrayim with Yaakov, each coming with his household. Rashi on the beginning of the pasuk, Ve'ele Shemos b'nei Yisrael says, Afal pi sheminan b'chayim b'shmosam, chazar u'menam b'misasam, lo diach libasam shenimshul lekochavim. Although they are counted by their names in their lifetime, as they said in Parshas Vayishlach and Parshas Vayigash, he counted them again after death to make known how precious they are, and they are compared to stars. We all gathered here tonight, l'chai, to Moti. However, I want to change the lamed to a dalid for Moti, and change the lamed to a mem for Moti. And instead of it being l'chai, it should be michai, from Moti, from life. From Moti, I saw a friend who was complex, but he was simple, was tactically tough, but always loving, who stood his ground when he was passionate about a topic. And although I saw his personal frustration and the emotional toll it took on him and the family, he never complained. And I would venture to say that everyone in this room together has a michai, a from Moti life lesson moment. Eli Reisman once mentioned in a Shabbos drasha about stars. In Gashmias, when people look at stars like on Hollywood Boulevard, they look down. But in Ruchnias, when we look for stars, we look up. And as Yaakov Kest told me last night, even though a star may be tough to see, it always flickers. Moti has and will be a beacon of light for his friends and family. I would like to repeat a story my son Judah told the family at Shiva, but first give you a history of his relationship with Moti. Moti would usually pick me up on our bike rides, and as certain people in this room can attest, I tend to be a little late. Judah loved waiting outside with Moti while I was getting ready. Moti made Judah feel like he was his best friend, and I see the same friendship Judah has with Ari. Another time, Judah was riding home from school in the rain when Moti pulled over and told him, Judah, get in the car. He helped put his bike in the car and drove him home. These quiet acts of chesed were a staple of his personality. Mr. Kest mentioned at the Levaya, there are a lot of people who played an integral part in helping out the family, and they don't need mention. But there are 2 people, I'll try to keep it together, I would like to personally thank on behalf of myself, Margot, and our children. Johnny and Jackie, During the Shalom Zachar, you gave me an opportunity to see Mati for the last time. And even though I didn't know it when I went upstairs to see him, I will never forget. And I always cherish. Even after Johnny told me it took chutzpah to ask, knowing that I was able to wish Mati and his mother Mazel Tov on the birth of their grandson and great-grandson. May you all share in each other's machot. May the neshama of Mati, Mordechai Tzvi, Ben Yitzchak Elimelech be a Melech Yasher for the entire family and friends, both near and far. And we all have the opportunity to usher in the Gula of Mashiach. Thank you.
Mami. Through Mati, our family was zeiche to develop a very close kasher with the Detroit Rosh Yeshiva Shlita. We know that a Rebbe is considered an Av. Avi Rechav Yisrael Parashav. I think it's very appropriate. The Yachas that Mati had with the Detroit Rosh Yeshiva definitely personified that. Whenever I spoke to Mati about anything in Ashkafa or Halacha, everything was about what the Yeshiva in Detroit held. Everything. From all of this stuff. And it's a meritorious chus that the Yeshiva is able to come and for their ado, the Detroit Yeshiva Shlita.
I'll try English as much as possible. I'll try. It's good. So there's a Gemara. The Gemara says that there's a halacha that you have to stand up for Talmud Chacham. The Gemara learns from Seyatokum, without Preizokim. Gemara is a shaila. What about to stand up for Sefer Torah? You have to stand up for Sefer Torah. Gemara says that if you, well, it says a svara that if you stand up for the Talmud Chacham, why do you have to stand up for the Sefer Torah? Feiloim der, Yeroim dim, so b'fanel kolshkein, and God makes us that kal v'chaim. So noch a Gemara, you do Adam Steer, the Gemara says a makis, that Hani Babli Tipshoi, they stand up for Sefer Torah, they don't stand up for Talmud Chacham. So the Shayna may ask if I can't hear the Gemara learns from kal v'chaim. Taisus Gufa says that Tipshoi is because they don't know the kal v'chaim. Good. But the Pasha the Teretz to the Kasha is that what's Sefer Torah if you don't have a Talmud Chacham to learn it? Talmud Chacham, Torah says, that's what the Gemara says there. It says, Aboim Yakenu, the Torah says, Aboim Yakenu. And the Kumte Chazal say Aboim doesn't mean Aboim. Aboim means 39. Doesn't mean 40, it means 39 volt. The Sefer Torah alone, it says it's 40. Talmud Chacham has a koyach to verteidigt as the Torah when it says 40, but Mispar Aboim means 39. So how would the Sefer Torah look if you didn't have a Talmud Chacham to say Pshat in the Torah? So the emphasis of the Talmud Chacham is Megadol dem Sefer. What would be a Sefer on the Talmud Chacham? Tzadasheni versteht man also that Talmud Chacham on a Torah. Talmud Chacham is all his Chacham comes from the Sefer Torah. Both things are true. Both things are right. As a Sefer told us, Adam, there's people who are complicated a little bit. You can't. It looks like it says Aboim Yakenu, and Aboim Yakenu doesn't mean B'dafka 40. Aboim Yakenu can mean 39. You have people who they look, what did the speaker, what did Ezra say here before? You biked 4 million miles, 3,000 miles, there's uphill, downhill, and he took care of it. The Moti that people saw, the Moti that you see is like Aboim Yakenu. That's the Moti that everyone saw. And maybe they say no, but really he was much more, and he was spiritual, and this Talmud Chacham and alle gute Sachen. But the Moti that the Moti that you saw, and I think that a lot of the fact that the people were so close with him is because he was such a, what you call a normal person. He was very normal, down to earth, regular guy. And he was a biker and a security man and a policeman. But that's because you're looking at the book. That's all you're looking at. You're looking at Al Testakel B'Kankan. I know him for a long time. I probably know him better even than the people who know him here. I think I know him better than Mishpacha. It's very shaykh because I know a different person. You're talking about. I saw during Shiva when we were here, we were talking to the family. I think that the family. Like it was chidushim. They were hearing chidushim about. Yeah, my brother was like that. He said, yeah, it's true. That's how he was. That's how he was. You can live with a person in the same house. You can spend every Yom Tif and every this and every with a person, and you don't know him. It's possible not to know him. And a person in Shaykh's, I speak to him a few times a year. He calls me up for Al Shailas, but I could see from his Shailas, I see what's going on with him internally before he was sick. After he was sick, for sure, but even before he was sick. Sedoi a pasuk in Micha that the Rebbe has a vikuach with Klal Yisrael, and he tells them that it was a little bit of bad time for Klal Yisrael. Then the Rebbe said, Anubi, I'll tell you good things I did for you. All the good things I did for you. The Halucham Eretz Mitzrayim. I took you out of Eretz Mitzrayim. First thing, took you out of Eretz Mitzrayim, B'yot Chazokeh, and I made Oises Amoifsim. I did for you wonderful things. And another thing I did for you, Ami Yischono Mayotz Bolak Melech Moyov. I did a gewaldige thing for you. The Gemara says in Brachos, well, what did he do? Two goyim are sitting in who knows where, in an alley somewhere, discussing Oifanim, Bolak with Bilam, Oifanim beats Oishagen and Klal Yisrael. How to destroy Klal Yisrael. The whole parsha in the Torah is interesting. What is it doing there? The whole parsha with Bilam and Balak, that's all it is. Ain parsha from two goyim who are sitting in the street and discussing things. They try to destroy. They try. The Beit of Bracha L'Klala. What's in Negeya to us? That whole parsha in the Torah. And here the Rebbe in the pasuk Micha says that the two most important things that the Rebbe did for Klal Yisrael was that he took them out of Mitzrayim and he. Look at Balak. They had Balak and Bilam together. What Balak told him and what Bilam answered back. You should know the gewaldige tzedakah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did. What was it tzedakah? The Rebbe gets angry. For a second, he's angry. And Bilam knew how to be mechavan the minute that he gets angry. The Rebbe didn't get angry for the couple of days that Bilam had with Balak to do. The Gemara brings a nice brachas. It's a nice with Tanoim. He stood up a whole night. He waited for the time. He knew exactly also the time. He fell asleep before it happened. Grace of Chesed. He kept falling Shlofenechet. He could have made that he should fall asleep, Bilam. He didn't have to be. That's the Chesed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for Klal Yisrael. The Rebbe does two Eifanim that I won't hold you too long. We say in Agodah Shel Pesach, we say that love and bikei shlakers hakoil. Baruch Shem Raftachas Yisrael Baruch Hu Shechishav Ezaketz. Then the Gemara says V'hisham Dlaviseinu V'lonu Shlo Yechad Bilvad Oimdim L'chalaseinu Shebechol Dar V'dar Oimdim Aleinu L'chalaseinu V'HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matzilei Miyod Tzei Ulamad Ma Bikei Shloven Arami Lasis Liyankim V'vinu. And love and bikei shlakas hakoil. Where does it say love and bikei shlakas hakoil? So the goyin tzeilin val the Torah says aram yoverovi. That's the only remez that Lovin wanted to be lakas hakoil. A remez in the Torah. Yeah, you can fatayt. He ran after him. Yeah. He was running after him to kill them. Echitesa, who said he's going to kill them. Torah is made aram yoverovi, and that's b'chol dar v'dar. That nistar, that snius from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the Umay So'ilam are trying to kill Klal Yisrael b'chol dor v'dor. Oimdim aleinu l'chaliseinu v'akadosh baruch hu matzilei miyodam. You see it? You don't see bezetes nicht. You don't see that. And the Gemara says that they wanted to make Parshas Bolak and Kriyashma. The Gemara says in Brachas, Bikesh, they wanted to put the Parsha from Bolak in Kriyashma. Why do they want to make Bolak and Kriyashma? The Gemara says, so there's a Parsha Mishkolis, a Parsha Ribis. There's a lot of Parshas in the Torah where it says B'tzias Mitzrayim. He didn't have to put Parshas Bolak. And the only reason the Gemara says they didn't put Parshas Bolak is Mishum Terech Tzibur. It's a big Parsha. Imagine every day, twice a day, you're going to have to say Kriya Shema, and the third Parsha will be the whole Parshas Bolak. Parshas Bolak. It's so important, the Parshas Bolak. What does it say there? The Gemara says, because it says, Kora Shochav Kari, Uchlovi Mi Yikimenu. Yidalach, they go to sleep at night. Shkeitim Vishalvim, Rashi says. Peaceful, nighttime, it's time to go to sleep. They go to sleep. The Goyim are looking every minute to Hargai's Klal Yisrael. And the Rebishter is holding them back from killing Klal Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matzilei Miyodam. As Ezek Rashi. They go to sleep. Kara Shochav Kari. Uchalavi Mi Yikimenu. I'm going to sleep. No problem. And the Rebishter is sitting and Kratav in Klal Yisrael Keseder, and nobody knows. And we don't know it. That means that the Rebishter took out Klal Yisrael from Mitzrayim with the ganze Klang, Moifsim, Gdoilim, Alayam, Aloretz, to half of the fellow Moifsim, not Shaykh. And Mitzad Hasheni, the Rebishter Batznei Aleches. Nobody knows. The Rebishter is saving Klal Yisrael b'chol dar v'dar. Oimdim aleinu l'chaliseinu. And nobody knows. Unavdem shtei. That's why they wanted to be Misakin Parshas Bolak. It's more chashuv. Emunas Hashem is b'chayiv a person to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saving you b'chol rega v'rega. Not one time he took us out of Mitzrayim. Not kill Mitzrayim in Mitzrayim. Das ist gar nicht. No, Korah Shochav Kari, Uchalavi Mi Yikimenu, every night, the Gemara says that B'yoyim, the Gemara says that Kol Shal Yom Em is V'yatziv in the morning and Em is V'amun in the evening. In the evening you say a different Birchas Kriya Shema. Because in the morning, B'damot B'chazlecho B'tachti, the morning is B'chesed. B'damot do the Chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By daytime is a time from Hallel. So you give Chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you woke up in the morning, you're starting a new day, Hafel V'fele. But B'layla is V'munoscho B'layla is Okti Gemara. At nighttime, because Rashi says, because now you're going to sleep. Now you need Givaldig Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you're waking up tomorrow morning. I'm giving over, I'm mafkid by Gufta HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'layla, and in the morning you wake up as a Shkeitim Mishalv. That's what they wanted to be Misakin and Kriyashma. And on that, the Novi Micha ends, and he says, he says, Kiyim, I says, Mishpat, I says, Chesed, V'hatznei Aleches Hashem Elokecha. The Rebbe fathers from you also. An oifen, how are you supposed to act with Rebbeinu Shalom also, but Tznei Aleches? The same way he acts with you. You know, there was a Yitzias Mitzrayim one time. Tumult, chaos, ISIS, Moifsim, Hafel V'fele. But every time and every rega, there's a Hanhoga, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has with Klal Yisrael, but Tznei Aleches. And that's what he's Mechayiv Yidden to go, but Tznei Aleches and Hashem Elokecha. Mida Krega, Mida Punkik, the Rebbe should Firzach with us. That's how we have to Firzach with him. The Moti Kest, Tzchreinu Levracha. Das is given. I ken him, I think, Mamish, no, nobody knows him, because Zeu Midasai. He was Megala, he was Mechazet V'chayim for every tefach that he was Megala. And he went a Chochem and Iber Chochem. And he knew, he understood mit der Klarkeit. I say, sagen Zach. And his Anhoge B'davke, it's verdeckt. I don't know if he did it on, I'm saying he did it on purpose. I don't know what he did B'davke, when I was so tzaddik, that's not Negeya. I'm saying his Hanhoge was a Hanhoge von Atznei Aleches. He didn't flaunt his Frumkeit. He didn't flaunt his Yiddishkeit. Es gewähnt, als sot Elachiyid, that the Olam that versteht das gar nicht. I have examples, I don't have to give examples. I'm telling you, I think he would be embarrassed if I gave you examples. It's just, Zayt Mekabel for me, when I'm telling you, that's what he was, Moti. In the Medrash it says, the three shames, a person has three names. There's a shame that his parents give him when he's born. The shame is supposed to fatayich. I don't know today, basically how it works exactly. But Amol Hashem was the Hagatayich the Mahus, the koiches from a person. And then there's the shamus that the people call him. He grows up a little bit, and he has a shame by the Olam, by the Welt, to give him a name. That name is something that, okay, people look at him and they fatayich him, they have. But the ikar shame of a person is what is nikras atzmoi, the name that he calls himself. Toiv shem toiv mishem and toiv, Zok the Medrash is going on the name that he calls himself, the name that he makes for himself. Not the name he makes for himself, not what the name that he made for himself that people say. Rei Krasi B'Shem, B'Tzalel Benuri, the Eibishter is saying that I'm calling B'Shem. No, the Eibishter, no, only God knows that B'Tzalel Benuri Ben Chur what his name was. K'B'Tzel Kelo Yisa, only Rebbeinu Shalom could say that. Only Gar Mekuravim can say, he made was Hashem hat gemacht for sich. I want to say this to the Kudela. We said by the Shiva, mit Gerät, as though a Goyin, that the Goyin says that from Tefillah that you say, and Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, U'v'chein tzadikim yiru v'yismachu. It always bothered me, the song. Here you're talking with songs. There's a Orz Ruach Tzadik, U'liyishay leiv simcha, and then you say, Gisarayin an nechomela, in a Yiddish and neshomela. Where did that come from? Orz Ruach Tzadik, Yiddish leiv simcha, Gisarayin an nechomela, in a Yiddish and neshomela. Where does it come from? Now the text is like this. It says, V'chein tzadikim yiru v'yismachu. V'shorim yaloizu. V'chasidim berino yagilu. Something in Messiah Chitzchok, and I saw later in the Goyin Alein says it. Uv'chein, what's a tzaddik? A tzaddik is a person that has milchama with himself. Has a Yetzer Hara like everyone. And he fights felach milchamas with the Yetzer Hara, called Godel Mechaveiroi, Yitzra Godel Emenu. The bigger you are, the bigger Yetzer Hara you have, because Yetzer Hara is 50-50. If you're very big, Yetzer Hara is very big, as they get us. Rabban Zechrein L'Roch effect to Zogen Alamol. Esav, it got to, who has such Yetzer Hara like Esav? Because Kol HaGodel Mechaver Yisra Godel Emenu. 50-50 is the Yetzer Hara with a person. So a tzaddik, kam, every day he wakes up and he has to put on tefillin. Not put on tefillin. Okay, put on tefillin. He wakes up, should I get out of bed? Should I not get out of bed? It's milchama. Every day is a war. Okay, he wins the war. By the time the war is over, he has no koyach anymore. He has no koyach. He can't. He's simcha. Was war simcha? He says, "Hey, famatet from the milchama that he pushed has no koyach." Then there's a yosha. There's a person who has a yashris. The tzaddikim, the office hakdeshim, but we given yesharim, Thomas Nafshi boys yesharim. It says Sefer HaYosha, Sefer Yesharim is the Sefer Chumash is Sefer HaYosha. Because what's a yosha? A yosha is a person who knows right from wrong, not toiv and ra. Right from wrong. He's a yosha, he's a straight person, very straight. He has no problems with the Yetzer Hara. If I stay gleich, he knows this is right, this is wrong. He goes through life with leicht. Be'etzem, he's already besimcha b'hayalman. This world is already besimcha. But how can he be happy when his friend, the tzaddik, who's davening next to him, has such mulchamas? So he says, "V'chein tzaddikim loslava yiru v'yismachu v'yisharim yaloizu." They'll platz from simcha because be'emes they're be'etzem besimcha all the time. Except they can't be besimcha because Hob Nachman is after tzaddikim. But come losalavai, by Yom Hu'ir, it'll be Nisgala, the Yetzer Hara will be a bissel bottle, and then it'll be Ma'aseh Mashiach, Yom Hashem B'Hem Chayfetz, everybody will be happy, fine. Zeh zok the goyim. But a Yosha means a glatte mensch. Does he teach a glatte mensch a Yosha? So I was saying then, as Moti was Kol Yomov, he was always a good boy, even when he was little. As Mrs. Kest, I don't know, it was Michael, you also asked him, that he was a good boy, even when he was little, he was a good boy. Did always the right thing, got the good marks, did what he was supposed to do, perfect. Even in yeshiva by us, did what he had to do, always did the right thing, came to daven, came to learn, on time for Seder, he did it. Dressed properly, a mensch, mannered, alles thing perfect. He was a Yasha, Kipshutai. He was a Emes Yasha. And he had his Hamidas Hayashras. He didn't understand Milchamis really. He didn't understand people. What's the problem? You couldn't explain to him when it was a shaila of right or wrong. He could never understand. What's the problem? This is how it is. This is how you do it. Even you have your Atzola. In all the things, wherever he was involved, it's simple. Everybody else says, well, why should we do it? What do you mean? That's how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how he was his whole life. This is how he was. A Yashin, I think, a Yashin comes with big nisyanis. Person is so straight, he has nisyanis. Because it's not enough to be a Yasha. A lot of people are, people who are very straight, but it's not straight at all. It's really crooked. But it's a Hobna Yashris, it's called. We call it a Yashris. That means they have a Mahalach. Azayirus, that's how it is. And anything else is called crooked. If you look like this, it's straight, but it's crooked. Yosha means Azay, like Farmat and Teira. When you were mal for somebody money beribis, you were Bal Chesed. Sagt der Reb Chaim Volozhin, sagt, that I'll give Dvarim Olam Oimed, I'll Teira Val Avodah Val Gemilas Chasodim. So the Seder should be Gemilas Chasodim first. Avram Yitzchak v'Yankov, Al Gemilas Chasodim, Val Avodah Val Teira. What's the Teira for you? Why is Teira first? Sagt er, because today that there's a Teira, Chesed Fataitzach with what the Teira says is Chesed. Not what you say is Chesed. Chesed what's Chesed? What's Chesed? Today, Malva Beribis is eine Beine. They're not going to wake up when Tchis HaMesim happens. 5 minutes before Matan Torah, you went straight to Elam Abba because you were Baal Chesed. The same Meise was Amol Chesed. Hein the Torah sagt, das ist nicht Chesed, wird es ad kedei kach like Rishis. Yashrus Yashrus is also a dangerous thing, Yashrus. Yashrus is a great sakona. It's a big sakona to be a Yashrin. Because I'm all, if I touch the chalein, the Yashrus Muzayin Alpi, the Das HaTorah, I'm not talking about Das Torah b'miretas haint. I mean, it has to be Alpi HaTorah, the Yashrus. Any Yashrus, it's not Alpi HaTorah, this is Yosha. Yosha is not what etiquette says is Yosha. Yosha is what the Torah says is Yosha. When Amol, it looks to a person who's in the belt of etiquette that it's krum and it's gefährlich and it's not always gehalten. That's Yosha. It's Yosha. Mochi Timcha Zeicher Amolik is Yosha. No, it's Achzorius, it's Yosha. Azeiras. For Vosval, the Rebishter says it. That's what makes Yashus. The Rebishter makes the street. You walk it. You don't pave the street. God makes the street. You walk the street. That's Yosha. Was the Rebishter sagt, that das is Yosha. You see, this Hatzola here, this business with Hatzola here. Why do you think that Hatzola is so choshev? Why? What's the? Yeah, because the Fashis. We saw already from COVID what Pikuach Nefashis means, and every Pikuach Nefashis. V'nishmat Meidus Av Sheseichem, very easy to walk around with a stamp. V'nishmat Meidus Av Sheseichem, doesn't go It's nothing. You have to be stupid not to be V'nishmat Meidus Av Sheseichem. A thesis in the Sanhedrin asked it for a kasha, and the Gemara says, Akum Ma'al B'Kiddush Hashem. So Taisa says, what do you mean, Akum Ma'al B'Kiddush Hashem? A guy doesn't have a chai b'hem. So a guy doesn't need a chai b'hem. A yid needs a chai b'hem because sometimes he has to be moist nefesh. A guy, if he wants a chai b'hem is a svara. Chai b'hem is a svara. That's the kunst. Sie gewinnen a Miriam mit Yocheved. I have this thing, I think, why is Hatzolah so choshuv? Where did it become so choshuv? Favos did it choshuv? By Klal Yisrael. And speaking to Hatzolah guys, this, why is Hatzolah so choshuv to Klal Yisrael? Favos. Why? Because it's Hatzolah Sefoshes? Hatzolah Sefoshes. Is Gadol, you know, Gadol Talmud Torah Hatzolah Sefoshes? You know that? Gadol Talmud Torah Hatzolah Sefoshes. Try to tell somebody Gadol Talmud Torah Hatzolah Sefoshes. Throw you out of the window. It's off in the Gemara. Gadol Talmud Torah Hatzolah Sefoshes. Mordechai, a Yehudi, was the fifth in the Sanhedrin, and after he was Isaac in Hatzolah Sefoshes, he became the sixth in Sanhedrin. Talmud Torah is bigger than Hatzolah Sefoshes. I'm not saying that b'mokam Hatzolah Sefoshes is not b'vatal Talmud Torah. I'm not saying that. But what's bigger? What's in your eyes bigger? Nothing bigger than Hatzolah Sefoshes. Why is Hatzolah Nefashos by Yidden Azei Choshuv? Not because it's Hatzolah Nefashos. You're Nefashos, yeah, Nefashos. I tell you that God Avin is a goy hot bechal nicht gepekuach Nefashos. It's not so, I don't think that's the pshat. Unsere Imoyes, I don't mean from the Gimel, from the Dalar Imoyes. Yocheved mit Miriam, and the Gemara says in Shabbos that Kol Mitzvah, that a Yid is Moise Nefeshan, B'shas Gzeres HaMalchus is a katim uchzekesi b'yodein k'goy Mila. Mila is a mitzvah that Klal Yisrael was my senefeshan, kol yemeihem. Memela Mila is still stark by Yidden. You don't find a Yid that's not going to mal his son. Or kol mitzvah that's not uchzekesi b'yodam, but mesiris that they want my senefesh Allah b'shas Gzeres HaMalchus k'goy tefillin. A kati rofu b'yodeinu, it's shvach. Tefillin is shvach. Because we were not moise nefesh on it. There was a gefelt uns mesiras nefesh. A mitzvah that Klal Yisrael was koine with mesiras nefesh is stark wie Eisen by uns. What do you think the Parei told them that they should kill the children? Okay, don't kill the children at Tzichas Ubrim. Maybe you can't kill, maybe you could kill. He does not muzram at Tzichas Ubrim. Taisa says he doesn't have at Tzichas Ubrim. But Tzichas Ubrim is a halbetzara. But vatchayen is hayeladim. They were mespikas l'mayim u'mozen. They gave them to eat. That's Hatzolah. For Hatzolah is chayecha koidmin. There's no din ein doich nefesh v'ei nefesh. When it comes to Hatzolah, chayecha koidmin, that's the din. If you have a kitin shalmayim and you only have 1 cup of water, you drink it yourself. You don't give it to the other person. I'll teach Sadik Harabeh. You drink it yourself, the water. And Yocheved and Miriam were moise nefesh for Hatzolah. B'shas Gzeres HaMalchus. That's why Hatzolah is kaim by Klal Yisrael. And if the people would understand the chashivas of Hatzolah is because unsere mamis haben sich moise nefesh given of them. That's Hatzolah. Then it's proper. Then okay, good. You don't even know. I think the Zayim doesn't know themselves why it's so stark by uns. That's not because it's also the Nefashos. Was will ich mit dem say? That if the Yashrus comes, even when it comes to Hatzolah, people are ready because of Hatzolah, they'll do this with Chil Shabbos, and they'll carry, and they'll this, and they'll carry. I don't know. By us in Detroit, I remember I wanted to make Hatzolah 6 days a week. Shabbos, it shouldn't be Hatzolah. So I'm going to say Shayla Shabbos. But the people's Yashrus, what do you mean? Shabbos, they're being Mechal Shabbos for cuts on your fingers because 1.5%, someone passed the Chazanish, maybe 1.5% is already called enough to be, okay, kill. Why was that rein offense? But Lemais, it's true because your Yashrus takes over. That's not the Das HaTorah. No, you ask Shailas, could be how you ask the Shaila. What you ask the Shaila, how you present the Shaila is another thing. But the person should have as a yashrus, a filu in the zachen that are close to him. That a person should be el kim osas adam yosha veheim bikshu cheshbeinis rabim, a filu in things which he holds stark, and instead he's mevatel ritzaynoi to the rotzen from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. I say ritzaynoi kirtzayncha. The tachlis is like the Sapurnai says in B'chukaisai. The tachlis of a person is to become an Eina Mitzuva V'Oisa. Gadol Mitzuva V'Oisa, Membisha Eina Mitzuva V'Oisa. That's true. But the biggest madrega is to be an Einu Mitzvah. An Einu Mitzvah means I do it because I'm having mein Ratzon to the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I know it's so good. I verstehe good what the Ratzon Hashem is, and I'm doing it because that's Ritzayin Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. His Ratzon and my Ratzon stimmen. And I do it because it's Ritzayin. That's called an Einu Mitzvah. It's bigger than a Mitzvah Vaisa. He was that. I know, I spoke to him many times. He never trusted his own yashris. He never trusted his own because he knew that his yashris be'etzem was a kruma. He knew it. Because he knew that's how called yashris. He was looking for his yasher was, not that he was a good boy, he was a good boy because, of course he's a good boy. He was brought up that way. I called an Adam Gadol on the phone a couple of weeks ago. And I told him, oh, you pick up the phone? He said, yeah, my mother taught me to pick up the phone. Somebody calls. I had a good upbringing. That's what he told us. Mamish's Lashon. I mean, somebody who's, I'm not talking about Stamach, Adam Gadol. I had a good upbringing. I'm not talking about somebody who had a good upbringing. Of course he had a good, which Jewish mother doesn't bring up his child with the proper etiquette? Be it from Emily Post or from who knows who comes about etiquette. Say thank you, say goodbye, say please, say it. But somebody must have versteht as the derech hayosha, it means the derech haTorah. And that's how he straightened himself out in everything that he did. And if it was not Torah, it was not Torah. And the letzte Tzveya is nicht over zu reden. When he took himself stark in Emunah and B'tochen, you couldn't even, you make a mistake when you become a Baal Emunah when you're very sick, so you can make a mistake. He never made a mistake. And the Rebishter. He never made a mistake because that's how he lived before also. That's how he was B'hatzna. That was the Shem that he was kind of for himself. Nobody knew it. Nobody knows it. That's what he was. When I told the brothers how proud he was that they're B'nai Torah. I have brothers that sitting and learning, and it's stark, and everything I say, even on the outside you can say, where's the responsibility to your family and to this? This is nothing. That's upon him. That was the motto you knew. Go, take care of my body, take care of my goof, take care of this. That wasn't him. That wasn't him, but what was Nechbel Bikalim, what he really was this. Kula Yashar, Kula Ya Ben Teireh. And ich will sagen, I was in Meisav sein, that the Medrash says, HaKol Toli B'isha, you should know that the Rebbetzin Zaina, a Shutif B'molei HaMila, in everything that he is. So them Yashris, and them Gerecht, probably she had a tremendous chaylik in them, that he's who he is, and he's what he is, even though ich hab das schon geschmeckt when he was in yeshiva still, young Bach. And his children, you see in them as I'm talking about Emunah and B'tochen, as a Glattkeit, and as a Yashrus, and as a Messinus. You know what it means? Es geht weg, a Mensch, a junger Mensch. But he accomplished, in his paar Jahren, der was gelebt, he accomplished in these few years what few of us accomplish in tausende Jahren. I say to Messiah sein mit jener Gemara, the Gemara sagt doch, auf Kame, say, al-Totzer es-Moyer, al-Tizge ba-Mulchome. As jener Gemara, the Gemara says, and Moshe would have made a Kal V'chomer. There was a story with somebody whose daughter died very young, and they wanted to go be Menachem Avil. He said, I'm not going to be Menachem Avil with you. You don't know how to be Menachem Avil. You go there and you tell people, oh, he's so terrible, so gefährlich, he's gestorben, he's so young, it's so vashkoiches, it's such a girl, it's a wonderful girl, and they had all days. I'm not going with you. He went and he told the parents who were sitting Shiva, he said to them, that the Mitzrayos HaMidyanim v'Kisam, so Moshe would have made a Kal V'chomer. Madach the Midyanim is Kol Shkein Moyavim. So the Rebbe said, Al Totzer Esmoyev, Al Tizge Ba-Mulchama. Why did he save Moyav Take? Because Rus HaMoyavi had to come out from him. When Am HaMoinus had to come out from Ammon. So he saved the whole nation for Deiris because these two little girls are supposed to come out from Ammon and Moav. So he says, no, if your daughter was worth anything, I don't mean it. If your daughter was Taka, supposed to be, if she was supposed to come out from her more than already came out from her, if she didn't do her shlichus in ganzen, you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he saves umayis, ganze umayis for two people. And the guy said, that's the biggest nechama. If I tell you that this person was Mekayim and these Pariyah Vased gelept, 1,000 times more than people will ever be Mekayim. And if you're telling him at Seva for him, if you're holding it by telling him at Seva for him, if Hatzolah is telling him at Seva for him, or whoever wants to tell him at Seva for him, sollst to wissen that the Matzeva, you could do the same thing. Write on the Matzeva whatever you want, because that's the Kankan. Everybody knows that. You put on the Matzeva, you put it in stone, it doesn't matter. What's in stone is not the Ika. It's was liktach in the Werte from your words. Just make sure that you're writing a bissel tifa, and the words you give him is a bissel tifa, and all the past, whatever it's called, stuff you give him, make sure that it's a little tifa than you think it is, because he was a sach tifa than the Olam thinks. A sach tifa, and I don't mean talking spiritual, I mean tiefkeit, that hat verstand, a gewaltige verstand. He made himself look poshit. It wasn't a game, it was poshut. Not a stira b'chal. And if it shouldn't be wasted, that's the only thing. His visa shouldn't go to waste. That the Olam should understand where this is. And the Olam should understand what they lost. They didn't lose a person who was this and so gishmak. And they lost a grace, a chelik from the Hashpah. Remember when the Shmuel, Birnbaum was nifta. So he said in the lake, and people were talking about, oh, you're missing his Torah. And I said, his Torah. I got up, I said, you're missing his Torah. You're missing Lechem U'Mazen. He was like Rav Chanina ben Daisa. The Olam ate from him. Parnasa, everybody understands Parnasa. Your bread on the table tomorrow. Just worry about your bread. Don't worry about the Torah and don't worry about the Midas. He was a gewaldige Siba for the Hashpah. Hashpah's Achayim, Poshet Hashpah's Achayim. If the Olam will take it to her, and then the Pshat is, Zay Misa v'tobena mit ha-tachlis, Zay Zikuy ha-rabim, and that's the größte Nechama for the Mishpacha. Biggest Nechama for the Mishpacha is, when we skupt ha-roi soll sein, da take the Misa soll sein, the Misa ha-Kiddush Hashem, Yehi Zichrei Baruch, and the Rebbe should give the whole community koyach, have to go weiter and weiter, und the größte Nechama, and Yechof, that, so geht es, Shloshim is a Zman Azah, Gimel Ubchi, was in the spade. Baruch Hashem was already in the Srabbekol, Mishpach Kulis, Neilig Med Ben Zocha. The Rebbe is da. No, it's klappt sich zu a bissel zusammen. That's all I'm saying.
One more thing on the program. Hatzalah would like to make a special presentation. So, Simcha.
If I can have everyone's attention. Ready? Yeah. Ellie and I are here representing Hatzalah of Los Angeles in honoring Moti Kest, LA 34. So many of our members wanted to be here, but there's just so much room any Shloshim can hold. Hatzalah is a close-knit organization with many people who spend many hours together on their own personal time, helping others, and over the years, many of us have become close friends with each other. Just look at the Hatzalah members that were invited here tonight, who are some of Moti's closest friends. Shmuley Berger, Ted Felcher, Ezra Graby, Avi Weiss, Eliasher Ovitz, and Jonathan Tesler. One of Moti's last big events he attended was at Ted Felcher's wedding. Moti was very influential and dedicated to the members of the organizations, besides for sitting on the board of directors.
We have all heard the countless stories about Moti's character and greatness, and we all know how much he gave of himself to help others. I wanted to highlight a specific memory where Moti's passion was just so evident. During the riots last year, which was also during a COVID pandemic, but specifically the uptick of COVID, Hatzalah continued to respond to medical emergencies, and this was while Moti was battling his sickness and was unable to respond specifically to the COVID medical calls. Nonetheless, he still found opportunities to help Hatzalah in any way possible while he was so sick. During these times of the riots and the COVID, as members provided and responded to these calls and were rendering medical care, Moti would respond to these calls, but not for the medical, because that was banned by his doctor, but for security. He would respond, same time we would, get on the radio, and as we were responding inside the house, Moti was responding outside the house, dressed in full tactical gear, as everyone has seen, head to toe, not missing any detail. Moti did everything with 110%. His level of creativity with fundraising for our organization was truly an honor to watch and be a part of. He was so focused on such details, ensuring every member felt the same energy that he did. There is no one that I know that was as committed to Hatzalah as Moti was, and he has ingrained the importance of staying committed to one's passion, as he did with so many of his. I am so appreciative for the time I was able to respond alongside Moti for the past several years.
As with the tradition of many public agencies, Hatzalah and all our members would like to honor Moti, LA 34, in a Bakavidika way. There is a public agency tradition called the end of watch call, or last call. It began in the mid-2000s in police departments on the East Coast. By 2010, the practice had spread to the West Coast for firefighters and many public agencies. It's a ceremony in which you remember the responder, in this case, LA 34, by putting an unanswered call directed to the responder over the organizational radio system, followed by a second unanswered call. The dispatcher acknowledges the silence with a subsequent tribute. With this tribute, Hatzalah will be retiring Moti's number tonight, LA 34 forever. And at this end, as this goes out over our radio system, all our members will be able to hear and participate in honoring a true hero and leader to so many. If I can ask all the members that are here to turn down your radios now to avoid any feedback, we will do this tribute live over our air so all our members can hear and participate.
$50 to H-Base.
Go ahead.
Permission for a brief local.
Go ahead.
H-Base to LA34. H-Base to LA34. With this last radio call, we mourn the loss of our brother and member, Moti Kest, LA34. Moti was a selfless leader who was devoted to his family, friends, and Hatzalah of Los Angeles. Moti would go out of his way day after day to ensure the comfort of others, even as he himself was in pain. Nafla shal heves ba'arazim. As the lights of Hanukkah that led us through this dark time are now dim, we look toward the bright flame of Moti's neshama to guide us as we press forward, continuing Moti's mission of Hatzalas Nefashos. As we painfully remove Moti from our Hatzalah chats, we know he will always be in our hearts and he will never be forgotten. We retire Moti's number LA34 forever, in honor and as a tribute to Moti's sacrifice and service to Hatzalah of Los Angeles. May Moti be a Meilus Yosher for his family, community, and all of Klal Yisrael.
Moti's number LA34 will now be retired forever. As a small gesture of honor and appreciation for everything Moti has done for Hatzalah, we created this plaque to my right, which we would like to give to the family. Moti will always be remembered. His neshama will always be with us as he watches and cares for everyone even now, as can be felt so palpable in this room tonight, and as he has always done in his lifetime. May it be a Meilitz Yosher for his family and the entire community. Can I call Mati's John?